Okay, so we'll begin by just clicking a new document here, and you should have your millimeter template. And you'll know this is the correct millimeter template because when you look at your model space, all you see is your grid. Someone want to hit the lights? Hit all of them? Let's see a little bit better. So you should not have anything at all in your model space except your grid, which is optional. You can have that turned on or off. But I don't want to see any lines or previous assignments or your name, date. All that stuff should not show up on your model space. But when you go over to your paper space, here's where you should see, I should see your name, drawing, the date should automatically fill in, or you can manually fill it in. We'll have our scale, and then here you have a viewport. So that is what you should have right now in order to complete this assignment. All right, so we will begin by going to units. So I'm just typing in units. And again, this is going to be a architectural template. So we're just going from decimal here to architectural. And our precision should be 1/64th of an inch. And then our angle here, we're going to keep our decimal degrees, but the precision here should be 1.000. So, or 0.000. So 3 zeros after the decimal point. Insertion scale set to inches. Lighting unit set to generic. And that is all the changes that we need to make to our units. For the precision for the length is 1/64th of an inch. And the angle precision is 0.000. So three zeros after the decimal point.
That's it?
Yep, that's it. And by the way, on today's assignment, there's a PDF it has screenshots of all of these windows. So if there's anything you miss, you can go back to the PDF as well and just double check your work. Okay, so okay here. Then we're going to go to our dim style. So we'll hit D and enter. And we're modifying our class style. And I'm just going to take this tab by tab, starting with our far left, which is the lines tab. And right now, mine says 3 inches. We're going to change this to 5 feet. And you got to make sure you put the foot symbol, which is an apostrophe or one little tick mark. 5 feet. In fact, we're going to change all of these to 5 feet. So the first box here, baseline spacing, we've set to 5 feet. Our offset from origin, we've set to 5 feet. Our extend beyond dim lines, set to 5 feet. Everything else should remain unmodified if you have not changed anything since our initial class template. Okay, we're just going to go over to our next tab over, which is symbols and arrows. And we are going to change all of these to 5 feet except for one. So we go 5 feet here. And then 5. The break size is 5 feet. And then the linear jog dimension is the only thing that's different. We're setting that to 3 feet. So our preview here is kind of showing a bunch of scrambled mess, but that should get cleaned up as we complete the correct dimensions. So we're going to go over to our, what's that? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So move into our next tab here, the text tab. We're going to change our text height is now going to be 5 feet as well. And our offset from dim line here at the bottom is also 5 feet. And then the text alignment, we're changing this to ISO standard. So ISO standard, which is this bottom option here. So all I did for text was we did 5 feet for the height, 5 feet for the offset on dim line, and then the ISO standard. Everything else, all the other tabs should remain unmodified. So our fit tab should look like this. And the primary units, we got to change our primary units. So fit tab should remain unmodified unless you've made changes, but this is the settings that it should be. And then primary units, we're going to have this match the units of our document. So we're changing this from decimal to architectural, and our precision to 1/64th of an inch. And just verify that your decimal degrees precision is 0.000. Everything else is good there. Alternate units, you just want to make sure that this box is unchecked. So display alternate units unchecked. And then our last tab here, tolerances, also remains unmodified. So click OK here. And close this here. I'm just going to pause this recording for 1 moment to take a quick break. Okay, sorry for the delay here. All right, so the next thing we need to do is just set up our paper space to let it know that we're now going back from millimeters to inches. So we're going to go down to print and page setup. I'll leave that up for a second so you can all navigate there, but I just hit the AutoCAD A in the upper left-hand corner, went down to print, and went to our page setup. And from here, we're just going to modify our layout. Yep. And then just with this layout selected, I'm going to click on Modify. And for now, the printer that we're going to use, you should have DWG to PDF. So it's just going to convert our files to PDF when we go to print. Our paper size should be ANSI A. And our millimeters here, we want to convert 1 inch equals 1 unit. So this is critical that you have 1 inch equals 1 unit. It should put it automatically. So it should say 1 to 1 or put it on 1. But the most important thing is that these two boxes say 1 and inches say 1. And that should automatically populate itself. So I'll leave this up for a second, make sure everyone's got it.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so hit OK here. And then we'll notice, close this out. And when I go Z, enter, and E, enter, you'll notice that my drawing is much larger than my piece of paper. So here's my piece of paper down here, and here's my template. Just close. So I did Z, enter, and then E, enter. Another nice shortcut for this is if you just double-click on your mouse wheel, it'll scroll out to everything that you have drawn so far.
Just turn gray.
What's that? That's fine. You have to worry about that. All right. So now what I'm going to do is obviously we need to scale our template. So I'm going to do a Command A to select all, or Control A, and type in scale. And then you can choose pretty much any point as your base point, but I'll just do my bottom corner here. And then now this is critical. We need to do a reference scale. Since we know our current dimension, so to scale to it, we'll hit R for reference. And then I'm just going to go all along my bottom here. And our new length is going to be, I believe, 10 inches. So yeah, we're going 10 inches wide. So go 10, make sure you put your little inches. And now we're looking much better. So I'll just double click my mouse wheel to zoom in nicely. And let's see. There we go. So my template isn't really centered very well on my paper. It's not on my paper at all. So I'm just going to move it and kind of try and eyeball it in the center here. My scroll wheel isn't working too well, so there we go. All right, so I'll go back a little bit and just show you that scale again. Okay, so here I have my piece of paper, which is really small, my template, which was really big, so we need to scale this. So I'm doing a Control A because I want to scale everything. And I'm running my scale command. And then looking at my command line, I can see it's telling me to select a base point. So I'm just going to do my bottom left corner here as my scale point. I'm hitting R for reference because we have a reference scale that we want to do. And I'm going to click on my 2 points at the bottom here. So I'm selecting the entire width of my template. And then now once I have that done, you notice as I move my mouse, it's scaling my template proportionally. But we're going to manually punch in 10 inches, and that will scale it to 10 inches. And I'm just going to move it so it's, and I'll eyeball this, but get it as, just get it on my paper here. Now the only thing else we need to do is the height of our new template is supposed to be 8 inches tall, and currently it's not. So what I'm going to do is select first my viewport and delete that. Then I'm going to select my outer border and delete that. Then I'm going to go into my border layer and just draw a new border. So I'll run my rectangle command, and then clicking on my bottom left corner, so very bottom left, we're going to go 10 inches wide by 8 inches tall. Try that again here. So again, rectangle, 10 inches by 8 inches. And then I'm just going to move that again so it's a little bit better centered here. So right about there looks nicely centered. And then the last step here in adding to our template is to make our viewport. So it's MV to make view. And then I noticed a lot of students are making this mistake. When they're creating their viewport, they're going all the way to the bottom of their template. And what that's going to do is cause your drawing to go over your name, your title, your date, and your scale. You don't want to do that. What you want to do is have your viewport just extend above your what they call your title block at that point right there. So you notice as I move around, my grid does not cover up my name, the title, the date, or the scale. So I'll show you that one more time. So to make a viewport is just MV. And I'm just going to click on my upper left-hand corner. And then I'm still in my inner rectangle here, but I'm going to snap to this point right here above our title block. Okay. Our last step is to save this. And this step is critical. The default location in CAD is located on your C drive for templates. And that is going to get erased randomly when you turn on your computers. As we push updates or whatever, that stuff's going to get erased. So it's critical that you save your template in the correct directory. So when I go to File, Type here, we need to select Template because we're creating a new template. And then instead of saving it with all the other CAD templates, I'm going to browse to this thaw space, which is your Z drive. So make sure you're in your thaw space, also known as the Z drive, and we're going to save this as your Archi. It's called our ArchiTemplate, so ARCHI, short for architectural template. Our measurement type is English, so we're not doing metric anymore. We've converted to feet and inches, so the measurement type is now English. And your description, you can write whatever you want. And save this. And then if you want, once you know that you've saved this on your thaw space, you can also save it one more time in your regular template space, but that way if it gets deleted, you still have a copy of it in your thaw space. Okay, and you are now done with that. Okay. One more thing I want to show you, and then I'll cut you loose for today's assignment, and I will go around and help you, and so will Daniel. So we're doing new. You should now have your ArchiTemplate here. We're opening this. And I have a few unique line types in today's assignment. One of them, for example, is called the gas. I'm not confident you guys are catching all this, so. All right. So I'm drawing a line here. It's just a regular line. And what we'll do is we're going to create a new layer. And this layer we're going to call gas. We'll select, I'll just do kind of a blue color for right now. And for our line type, there's actually a number of line types. So I think today we have train tracks in the assignment. So there's a track line that you use for that. We have a gas line, so we'll use gas for that. There's also a fence line for denoting fences. So right here is gas, so I'm going to do that. And that's the only modifications that we need to make to that new layer. And so now when I click on this line and I put it in my gas layer, yep. So you notice now it drew a line and it automatically labeled it gas for me. So again, this is a line type that I put in a gas layer. And so now for today's assignment, we're recreating a street intersection. You can denote those utilities in the street.